We had a great time tonight. We saw 9 candidates who are competing for 3 seats. And Ebony and Tina had the opportunity to talk to some of the candidates and some of the community about the event tonight. So when you came today, did you already know who you were going to vote for? Had you made up your mind yet?
No, not at all.
Who were you most impressed with today?
I was impressed with Keith Young, Sage Turner, and Rich Lee.
Did you come in knowing who you are going to vote for and did?
I thought I did. I thought I was sure. And then I had a surprise candidate that caught my attention in a way that she had not hit my radar before.
So when you came this evening, did you already have an idea of your favorite candidates?
Yes.
Okay, and who are they?
I'm not going to say that.
Okay, no problem. I don't have a problem with that. What are your most important issues? Like, what are the issues that you're looking for candidates to address?
Transportation, affordable housing, and equity.
What was your overall takeaway from the 9 candidates?
I love that the hot topics are what they are, which is housing, wages, climate change. Although I'm a little disappointed because I think when it comes to climate change especially, I think that every single conversation about climate change needs to include public transit. Part of what makes Asheville amazing is that we're good at promoting ourselves, and so we want everyone to come here. And the arguments and the cons that you hear about Asheville are parking and traffic, and the buses are an easy fix.
Okay, now what are the issues that are most important to you?
I think affordable housing is a big issue, but also just affordability in general in the city. And then also, I'm a big proponent of walkability and increasing transit use in the city, as well as bikeability and other modes of transportation besides vehicles, for environmental reasons and economic reasons as well.
Sage, what did you think tonight?
I thought it was pretty incredible. I'm really thankful that the Mountain Xpress did this and did it in a format that let our community submit questions. It was actually more informative and more, I think, even entertaining and inviting than all the forums we've done so far.
Were there questions tonight that didn't get asked that you wanted to address?
I don't know. I think we did a really good job at talking about the budget, talking about climate, talking about race and class. So I think that the questions were really good, solid questions.
For those who don't know about City Council, why is City Council so important?
Sure. So I've been showing up to City Council meetings for 5 years. And the way that I see our City Council operates, it's their job to instruct the top 3 level staff to run the city, to approve the city manager budget, to make sure it 3 lines up with policies that are in line with our community values. Asheville has really deep wounds to address. Mm-hmm. Urban renewal, redlining, gentrification, equity in our schools. When I hear my students tell me that the city has no love for them, that they're supposed to pay attention in math class, but that's so they can get a job or 2 jobs or 3 jobs and still not be able to afford to live here, that hurts.
The reason City Council is so important is because they handle the purse strings. They're the ones making sure the city runs in a certain way, that certain services are available to us. They're the reason why, say for instance, you're running into a problem with racial issues or the police force. They're pretty much the police, the actual police of the city. Okay? And basically what we need to do is make sure that we have some power on City Council, so we can actually have a voice at the table when issues are raised. Unfortunately, a lot of times they do not understand the minority experience or the Black experience. And I tell people all the time, it's not that sometimes they don't do things that we want them to do, it's just they do not understand. They do not understand what the needs are.
So you're clearly no stranger to City Council and Asheville issues, but as you've been out this year talking to voters, What changes have you seen in the community?
It's not that I've seen changes. It's just that I've heard more of what I've been hearing for years. So I've been working on affordable housing issues for several years and working on downtown and collective local business organizations for decades. And it's more of the same. We can't afford to live here. We're being pushed out. I feel like I have no control over the process. I'm worried about my future. I'm worried about my family. I don't feel like I belong here. I need help. And I hear it every single day.
So you're already on council. You running again? You're not tired yet? Why are you running again?
I have a lot of work that I want to complete for folks out in the community. I think it's going to be essential for the next 4 years of council to continue its equity work, to continue advocating for deeply affordable housing, and to continue trying to strengthen our transit system. So I'm running for the next 4 years to complete good work on council and move us into a next generation of affordability here in the city.
Well, I think we have to be honest that so many of us are running on very similar issues. And like I said when I was up there, we can have all the platforms we want, but we got to make sure that the community supports it. And so I'm interested in having more discussions on how do we take our platforms and have more real conversations with the community. Sometimes we can campaign on things that we think sound good, but I want to make sure that every candidate that's running is having conversations with community members. When we're at the doors, are we asking them what they think about fair free transit? Are we asking them what they think about participatory budgeting?
Yeah, no one's ever asked me.
So if elected, what is the first thing you're going to tackle?
So it's not sexy, but I think the very first thing I want to do is get the city started on rezoning and the whole rezoning. I met the guy that owns the building where my office is, Dr. Albert Anderson, told me that he was on the planning and zoning board that passed our last zoning. And he's like, well, that must have been 25 years ago. I was like, yeah, that's the last time the city actually wrote a zoning code. And you think about how many people moved here and how much new development there is. And there's just hotels going up everywhere. And, and we still have a zoning code that's from the late 1990s. And it really hasn't been changed since then. So a lot of the problems we talk about, like all these hotels, everybody just building a hotel everywhere, or, people buying your house and knocking it down and building a giant house on it, all the trees getting cut off. A lot of those things come down to zoning.
What do you think turnout would be like for the primaries?
I think there's a lot of unknowns. This is the first time we've been in an even year election. It's going to be crazy different offices on the ballot, like the presidential candidates are now going to be on the same ballot as our city council. So I think we're going to see bigger turnout. I don't know. City council is actually, and this is important for everybody to know, the city council candidates will be at the very end of that ballot, and the ballot will not be a skinny sheet. It's going to be a whole sheet of paper. So people are going to have to know their candidates and go all the way to the bottom and make sure that they vote for city council. I do think there will be as much as 3 or 4 times the turnout.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you think the youth will turn out?
I sure hope so. My son is 18 and he's registered to vote, and he's going to turn out, and he's organizing a group of friends to turn out. And I think we absolutely need the youth to get involved because it's their future.
Can you please share the importance of voting to our Black audience?
Voting is your voice. It's the only thing that we have that they can't take away. Not yet. So I think that we actually need to exercise our voice to be able to control something. We can't control anything without voting. So therefore I'm saying, go out. That vote is so valuable. Our ancestors died. They were killed and hung when they wanted to vote years ago. So they have fought and they've laid down their lives. We don't have to do that now. They realize the importance. We need to realize the importance because guess what? Things for us are getting worse. And they will continue to get worse unless we stand up and let our voice be heard.
Can you please share with us the importance of the Black vote?
It's very important because if you're out of sight, you're out of mind. If people don't believe that you have a voice, they won't talk to you and they won't listen. And so it's very important to come out to vote, to show up at meetings sometimes and just make your presence felt, even if you don't have anything to say. Many a times if folks walk into a room that I'm in where a meeting is being conducted, folks will lean over and say, what's going on? Why are these people here? What did we do? What didn't we do? People take notice when you show up. And one of the major ways that you can show up is to go out and make your voice heard when you go vote. So that is very important. I think it's indicative of who we have in the White House. So if you don't go out and vote, you get everybody else's choices and not yours. And don't think that voting doesn't matter, because a lot of people thought that we wouldn't have the president that we have because they didn't think voting mattered. And voting absolutely matters. And those folks who know that it matters, they take the best foot forward to go out there and vote. And if it didn't matter, people wouldn't try to suppress your vote so much. So don't get fooled. It does matter. And when you come out, you do make a difference. I wouldn't be here if my folks didn't come out and vote for me.
So our youth, I keep hearing that they're now demographically really significant for the both local and national elections, but they've often not turned out. What are you going to do to turn them out, or do you feel that they're going to be a factor?
I think our youth are very vocal in our communities. Our youth are supporting our communities in so many ways, but are often erased from the conversations. I mean, we have many initiatives that say they serve youth, but don't actually listen to the youth. And so our youth are turning out, but they're often silenced.
So why is voting so important? There's a lot of people who don't feel that their vote even matters. What would you say to that person?
I would say I feel that. And when I see things like what's going on in Congress, the impeachment and things like that, there's a lot of things there that really do affect people, let me just say. But it operates on some level that you don't even understand how these people are humans. Maybe they're so, rich or so removed from regular human interests that they aren't anymore. But what I care about, and the reason why I would never run for a higher office than this, is city council is responsible for basically everything you touch today outside your house. Even inside your house, when you turned on your water, that water is provided by the city if you live in the city limits. And if it was brown, it's because something broke that the city was in charge of. When you go out in the street, whether there's a sidewalk or a road there, is the responsibility of the city and what condition it's in. When the school that your kids go to, if you live in the city, is likely a city, is the buck stops at city council, who appoints the school board right now. There's a good chance the job you go to has to do with whether the city did the right things to create jobs. The traffic light you sit at. So city stuff is really immediate to your life. Probably half the stuff that pissed you off today was a decision that the city made or didn't make that had to do with the traffic or the water or something being flooded or trees being down or feeling too hot because we live in a heat island now. And those are all city decisions. So I would start at the bottom of your ballot and work your way back up rather than starting at the top and work your way back down.
Do you think it's ethical to vote for yourself?
I feel very strongly as a voter to be informed about the entire ballot. I've been telling folks that we've got to move these mountains. We have really delightful people running all across the state, and especially here at home in Western North Carolina. I'm telling folks to start with the folks that you see in the grocery store that you can hold accountable this week, and then move to the nonsense at the top, because it just feels so intense. I'm worried our neighbors might start at the top and then get all the way to city council and then not vote for them. So you better believe that when votes are decided so close, if there's a vote for one, I'm voting for me and Nicole Townsend.